Before it comes, a lot of work needs to be done. What does she need to know when trying to conceive to prepare for the healthiest pregnancy possible? Cradle to Crayon on Sunny 88.7 FM, 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m.
The Cradle to Crayon Show with Abby. Fridays 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Sunny 88.7 FM.
It's a great, wonderful morning. My name is Abby. Welcome to the Cradle to Crayon show right here on Sunny 88.7 FM. We're live across the world on www.sunnyfmgh.com. Don't forget we are live on Facebook on our Sunny FM page and also Cradle to Crayon Facebook page. We are live on Facebook. Show has been made possible by Secure Pills. With Secure Pills, you decide. Now, for this whole month of January, Sani has been on and on about starting right, applying to you as an individual, as an organization, also as a family unit, how to plan the year well and make the best out of it. This one, we want to take just one aspect of it. We are discussing managing family finances. We want to talk about how can you actually put together a budget for the family. What component do you need as a family when you are putting it together? Why we actually need to bring the children on board in doing that so they can understand that it's not everything they want that you can actually buy for them. And also how to manage some of these crises. Once in a while, families make impulse buying. How do we go beyond that and know this is our budget? We need to make sure we spend within that. I have someone here from a financial institution who want to talk more about managing family finances. But before I'd like to take a break, we'll be back.
Hey, stop! You little man, just see him go. This baby can run all day long. I wonder what I would do if there were two of him. I am very happy I decided to wait before having another child. Luckily, I met a family planning advisor at a salon who gave me great advice. I also claim the Advantage Secure gifts. Now I can space the birth of my children as I want. With Secure, I decide.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
You're welcome back. With Secure, you decide. Is a Cradle to Crayon show, which has been made possible by Secure Pills. Now, Secure is a daily oral contraceptive pill for women who want to effectively prevent unintended pregnancy. It contains ferrous fumarate or iron tablets that prevents iron deficiency anemia in women. It's highly effective when taken as directed by your family planning experts. It gives women the choice to get pregnant when ready. With Secure, you decide. Our WhatsApp line is 0540 130 684. Open the phone lines later on in the show. Don't forget, like I said, we are live on Facebook. My guest this morning is Edward Akani. He's a co-founder and CEO of Bethnal FinTech. Edward, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yes, it's good to have you here. Good to have you here, Edward.
Yeah, thank you once again for having me. I'm
Great.
looking forward to this.
Great. When you talk about family finance, is it just about money and savings?
Okay. I think it's a very good question asked, and I always want to take it from an education perspective or foundation. So, generally people always think that savings and investments are more like the main things when it comes to financial planning. But one of the key things is even education, which is more or less the foundation of the primary thing that we have to focus on. So I would say that when it comes to financial planning, it always has to start with education, understanding what you really want to achieve, or understanding where you are now, and then how to get to where you want to be. So it's not just about savings or investment, but education plays a critical role.
As an education on your financial element, what the whole financial background is.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So in a sense, you can call that financial literacy.
Okay.
Understanding personal finance. And I was going to say that it's not just about savings and investment, because many times people tend to forget that there are other elements or other facets of the entire personal finance concept. So for example, there's insurance. Insurance is a very big component of personal finance. There's lending or credit. I mean, I don't advise people to usually go for loans because of my background, but it's important to even understand what it means, so that you are better positioned to make the best of decisions that you want to do. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, looking at the financial plan for a family, why do we even need to consider this? Because I'm sure there are one or two families how they don't do this over the years. They live month on month. The month goes by, and then the following month, just hoping the month ends, the salary comes in, and then they can fall on the next month. Why is this important in our families?
I'll take this from the Bible. I mean, to start with, the Bible makes us understand that who sets out to build a house and then doesn't first count the cost to find out whether he is able to complete it. So it's important to plan. I mean, as Christians, I believe in Jesus Christ, and I'm a Christian. I believe that as Christians, or even as a family, one of the key things to do is to first of all understand where you are before you can make certain decisions. And the better you understand things, it helps you in your planning. And so it's very crucial to understand first, and your understanding really helps you to even now count the cost, to know what to look out for, what to do, and it makes your decision more of a qualitative one. You just don't make decisions. Yeah.
Okay. With our children, do you advise we get them on board in plan? Because I know plan, yes, mother, father. Do we consider the children in doing that? And why do you think we should bring them on board?
Definitely. I mean, they are part of the family, so it's important to have them involved. And I think that it's great, because once you are able to get your children to understand what personal finance is, or even get them involved in some of the decisions, it helps in the long term, because they would also grow to become parents, to build their own family. So they cultivate certain habits very early, and then those habits help them to become better people. So it's very important to have children involved in some of these things. And at the point, if as a parent you're making a decision, because you have educated your children, or you have sort of like had them go through that process of understanding why we are making this decision, they appreciate it better. And so that when they go to school and they see that maybe their friend has this and then they don't have that, they know that, okay, the reason why this is like this is because of that. So it helps a lot, because I mean, personally, when I was growing up, a couple of times I go to school and then I see that, oh, my friend has this and I don't have that. And when I go home, I ask my parents, Daddy, I want this or I want that. And then they explain to me that you can't have this now, or because of this, you can't have that. So it's very, very important. And for me personally, I believe that once you're able to do that, you give the child a better chance of becoming responsible.
That's in the future.
Yeah, in the future, definitely.
Okay. In planning out this, just want to see like a sample, because I know for every budget there should be some element or component that should run through. How do you structure this?
Okay.
What do you consider in putting together your structure?
All right. So generally, a budget is simply like your income against your expenses. So what you have coming in as your income, and then what you're spending on as your expenses. Income, I mean, basically is like your salary. And it's not just about salary. Let's say that maybe you have some additional work or job that you're doing, that can be another source of income. And I advise that usually you should have more than a stream of income, so that it can buffer up. I mean, if you have just one source of income, it
More
puts
than a
pressure.
stream of income, there are some other jobs you could also take up as well.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's on the income side. The expenses is where things get a bit complex, because there are different forms of expenses. I mean, typically for a family, there's the rent, which is more or less like a major component of every family's expense.
Yeah.
And then again, one of the key things that we should look out for when it comes to that is even to think of building, your own house, because how long are you going to be paying rent? So if you have
So it means every family should consider building,
every family should
irrespective of how much you're earning.
exactly, yeah, every family should consider building. And once you do that, you take away that component of rent where you have to be paying. In Ghana, usually you pay like at least a year or two. Yeah, which is when you calculate that amount of money, it's crazy.
It's quite huge.
It's quite huge. So the rent aspect, and then there's also like what you spend on food, even the house, things like that, maintenance. Maybe something gets spoiled, you have to fix it. If you have a car, you have to pay for fuel, car maintenance, and then there's the school fees element. That's the children, and even what they wear and all of that. And then you also have like other people that may be depending on you or your parents. So if you are the parent, that's the children's grandparents, and then your parents, you probably would have to send them some monthly stipend or something from time to time. Yeah. So those are like the expenses or the things that you end up, putting money out for. And definitely church activities if you are very much the tithe, which is very, very important. Yeah, which is very important. So these are some of the things that you need to have in mind when it comes to the budget. And for each of these things, there's always a way around it. Yeah, so that you're able to manage your budget or minimize your expenses. So, for example, I mentioned about the rent. Maybe in the beginning you are not in a position to have your own house, so you have to start from somewhere. So rent a place and then you build gradually. But it's one of the best decisions to make, to say to yourself that as a family you are going to build a house for yourself. And the Bible even says that a good father leaves an inheritance for the children. So the earlier you're able to build something for the family, that is, if for the parents, you also help yourself to build something for your children, so that one day when you are no more, your children have something they can go to. Or even when your children get married, you can have them start life on a certain level because you have left them something
legacy.
Very, very good. So those are things that you always have to consider. And with food like this, there are different ways to look at it. Starting, you can adopt an approach of maybe deciding to cook more from home or eating more at home than always buying from outside, always going out and all of that. So all of these things help to manage your budget and then ensure that you're able to spend within a certain means, so that you can even save towards getting your own house.
Okay. You did mention of how you can be able to, not just rely on one job, doing other stuff. What other options are there for someone doing a full-time job? Reporting by 8, you're done by 5, Monday to Friday. Which other options are there for you to raise some money?
Okay, so that's a very good question, and it's something that I'm very, I should I say preach or advise, because in this economy, living on just a stream of income is very, it's not easy. So, and it's also difficult, especially if your job is a 9 to 5 job and then you don't have the time to take up something
Other
extra.
jobs.
But I believe that there's always a way. And now with technology, there's a lot that you can do. A lot of people are selling online. So, for example, they have like Instagram pages where they sell shoes, clothes. For the women, they like to do that to support the family. So even though you can be doing like a 9 to 5 job, you can have something you're doing on the side. Maybe you are you're good at selling, you're good at talking to people. You can sell something online. Another thing you can do is maybe to start something at home. Maybe get a shop. You save a little bit. You start something at home, and then you start small.
Would all this be dependent on how much you're earning?
Definitely, yeah. But as a family, if both father and mother, or let me say the husband and the wife, you have your incomes coming in, so you can manage your money or your finances to be able to do some of these things. And
you do it together.
You do it together, yeah. You support each other. The man is the head of the family, but the woman definitely supports or helps. So if you're able to do these things, it really helps, because in the long term, you're able to even quit or stop your 9 to 5 job, because now you have done something on the side that can become big enough to sustain the family. And then also you are able to retire early. And this is a very important thing that we have to look at, because a lot of people or a lot of adults retire and then they look back and say that, I've worked for X number of years and there's nothing to show for that. And you start to regret that you spent your whole life at the company and then you
Your
couldn't,
entire adult life.
yeah, you couldn't really do much. So it's important to always think of other avenues. And the Bible even makes us understand that skill is very important. This morning, I joined a prayer service at church, and the last prayer we were praying was in relation to the Holy Spirit giving us the skill and special abilities to serve. And the Bible makes us understand that with these skills, you can do a lot. There are people that have a certain talent or skills that, at the end of the day, even what they are doing now is not necessarily what they studied in school.
Yeah.
And that even brings more income than what they actually work for. So it's a no-brainer. It's not negotiable. You should always have a second stream of income or something else that you're doing on the side. Yeah.
Side. Okay. Well, if you just tune in, you're listening to a Cradle to Crayon show. We're discussing managing family finances. I have Edward Akani. He's co-founder and CEO of Bethnal FinTech. Don't forget, show has been made possible by Secure Pills. Secure Pill is a daily oral contraceptive pill for women who want to effectively prevent unintended pregnancy. It contains ferrous fumarate or iron tablets that prevents iron deficiency anemia in women. It's highly effective when taken as directed by your family planning expert and gives women the choice to get pregnant when ready. With Secure, you decide. Now, phone lines have been opened. Number to call is 0540 130 684. The same WhatsApp line. You can do that. My guest here will answer your question. Now, I have this question here saying, good morning to you, Madam Abigail. My questions are, yes, my questions. I get this, Aaron. Aaron, it's been a while. What are the best economic meanings or behavior to adopt to be able to manage your family finance very well?
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is quite a broad question. I'll try to answer it in different ways. So I started off saying that education is very important, and if you are in the position of understanding how money works or understanding how to manage your finances, you give yourself a better chance of making better decisions. So I think number one, it always starts with education, like understanding these things. Yeah, I'm not saying that to understand the technical things like inflation and then all of these things, but the basic things that you need to understand. And for me, as a Christian, the first thing is even to pay your tithes, which is the 10% of everything that you get. So that is something that is very, very important. And then another thing that I can also add is what we just spoke about, getting another source of income, which would go a long way to help you to increase your income levels. And then with expenses that you end up, making, things like rent, you should decide to build a house. Yeah, so it's not going to come in a day or a week or a year, but it's going to take time. So for me, I think the behaviors are starting with education and then now becoming also a disciplined person to take some decisions, saving to get a land and then to build. Even though it's going to take time, you have to do it. And in the long term, you are the one that you get to benefit from that. Yeah. So those are like basics that are crucial to help you. Yeah.
Okay. With all that's happening around, you have a lot of people taking their monies, putting your money in the bank and all that. What's the best possible way that you can advise families to invest their monies?
Okay. So there are a lot of investments, and from the perspective of an investor, or from the perspective of what usually happens in the investment space, people invest for different reasons, which is something that has to first be understood. And all investment,
for different reasons.
Yeah.
Basically, I thought you could have money for the future.
Yeah.
Which other reason could there be?
Definitely for the future, but I'm getting there. So, for example, all the investment products that you see out there are for different purposes.
Okay.
So, if you want to invest for the long term, there's something you go for. If you want to invest for the short term, there's something you go for.
Okay.
But generally, we are in a place where the economy is not doing so well. Prices are skyrocketing. Inflation now is, I think, around 54%. So it's difficult for people to even believe in investment. And I hear that a lot from people. And also with this issue of the exchange, the debt
dollar rate,
exchange
okay.
program, and even the dollar rate and all of that, I would say that the best investment now, the best alternative investment now is to invest in land.
Land.
Yeah. And
But lands are going for 100,000 plus. For
yes.
somebody who's making after your budget, your expenses, and then you
Yeah.
barely have like 10,000. How do
Yeah.
you approach it?
So, I said earlier on that you can start from somewhere.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you want a certain kind of land in a prime area, that's very expensive.
You would have to pay that much.
Yeah, you pay that amount. Yeah, but there are places where you can get like good prices,
Mm.
and even though you may not have all the money now, you can gradually like save towards that. Because number one, when the economy is not doing well, and then there's inflation, and then things are not working out. As for land, it's not affected by the returns of investments that you have going on around. If prices go up and you decide to sell your land, you can sell your land at a higher amount. You can even use the land as a farm. I mean, there are a number of things you can do with the land. You can build on the land, you can farm on the land, and then you can even sell it later on. So land is more or less what I would say is a better option.
Be the best option
to go for now.
Okay.
And I'll even add saving in USD or saving in forex. So primarily USD, because I mean that's the most common one. And I say that before I think in last year, towards the end of last year, the dollar was rising, and then at the point it started coming down. But I think it's rising again, and our currency unfortunately is not the strongest. Yeah. So when you save in USD and then the dollars go up, you get a benefit from it. Someone will say that, okay, what if it comes down? Yeah, it comes down, but you save with the mindset not to change now or to spend now.
Okay.
You save with the mindset to have it in the long term. So if let's say you're able to save even $1,000 in a year, a lot of people would say that that's difficult to do. But I mean, yeah, it's difficult, but I mean you can't do that. Yeah, but if you're able to save $1,000 in a year, and you don't touch that money for maybe 2 or 3 years, and the dollar rate goes up, you can imagine what you're going to get from that. And even if the dollar comes down, that money you can even use it when you travel, so you don't lose out in a certain sense. Yeah. So I would say for now it's landing also saving in USD or forex. Yeah.
Okay. I want to say good morning to Mr. Johnson Odami. He's headmaster for God's Grace International School at Tesana. He's doing the listening. Edward, you have an app, Bethnal Financial app.
Yeah.
How does it work for families who want to better invest or save their monies?
Okay. So the app is called Bethnal Finance. It's available on the Google Play Store and also on the App Store. And the idea or the reason why we came up with the app was basically to help Africans or Ghanaians to start with to make better financial decisions by giving them information that they need. And so, I mean, once we put the app out, we got a lot of feedback, and people wanted to do more with the app. So, for families, I think that, like I said, education is very important. You can go onto the app and then, I mean, find out the different investment products that are out there. It helps you to have like a general understanding of what is happening now in the economic space. Additionally, we are adding some features on the app that will help you to make your budgets, track your expenses, and then also invest and then save as well. So the app really is more of a go-to place for you to improve your financial literacy, manage your personal finances, and access financial services. So, I mean, for families, you can learn more, you can save, you can create budgets, and all of that. Yeah.
Okay. I think the second part of everyone's question has been answered already, so we can. In the introduction, I was talking about planning and implementation. Planning is one thing. A family can actually go out. We are doing a Start Right series. You can plan for the year. You know that for every month, this is what they are doing. There are some expenses, that will come in. How do you actually implement, make sure we are executing as we are planned? That bridge in between is always a challenge.
Yeah. I think there's this thing that we always say, that you can have an idea or a thought, and now executing is the problem.
Yeah.
And they say that most of the time the idea part is just about 10% or even less, and then execution or implementing is like 90% or more. And I would say it really comes down to discipline. Yeah, being disciplined. And someone cannot be disciplined for you. You have to be disciplined for yourself.
It's a self decision.
Yeah, it's a personal decision. It's something that you have to do for yourself. So you can come up with all the plans, but if you don't say to yourself that I will do this, I'll sit down and then I'll do this, then there is a problem. And I think that we can also look at it from this angle, being hardworking. And most times we tend to, I mean, for Christians, sometimes when we hear the grace of God, it's like you fold your arms and then sit and then
Hoping
watch.
the grace will work for you.
Yeah, but hard work is, I mean, important. You can't do much or you can't achieve anything without hard work. So it's just about being disciplined and then deciding that I will do this, working at it. Yeah. So spending time, if it means that you have to sleep late at night, you do that. If it means that you have to sacrifice more, then you do that. And it cuts across, I mean, all the areas of your life, not just in finances or personal finance, but even spiritually. If you want to grow as a Christian, you have to read your Bible and pray. So it's very important to have that kind of mindset, and I think that should work.
That should do it. You had mentioned that you don't stand for loans. I mean, when it comes to idea going for loans, there are some times when families go into financial crisis. How do you advise they go through what? How do they manage it? Because the first thing for a family to do is, okay, let me see if I can get some loan from a cousin, from a bank, from a relative, and you are saying is a no for you from with your background. Which other option is there?
Okay, so loans are very complex, yeah, because you have to pay interest on them, and then you end up having to work, and then the income you're making from your work is going to pay off the loans that you took. And definitely not to even be a certain way, but people go for loans, and sometimes when you listen to some of the reasons, it makes sense in a sense, yeah, because people struggle. I mean, there are different things that people are going through. So on a personal level, I try as much as possible to shy away from that, to move away from that. But it's not to say that if you go for a loan or you have a loan, then you're a bad person. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're going through or what position that you are in. So if you don't have a loan now, then it's good in a sense. Try to manage your money or do the things you have to do so that you don't end up having to go for a loan. So having a budget, I mean, spending wisely, trying to get other sources of income to boost what money you have so that you can, I mean, do the things you need to do. But if you do have a loan, you have to pay for the loan.
Definitely.
Yeah. So for those people that maybe for one or two reasons they have some loans to pay, they have to work on paying those loans, because the longer it stays, it becomes burdensome. Yeah, and
the interest also.
Also keeps rising, and you are also unable to do other things because you have to pay off that loan. So it's not so easy. But if you are able to, I mean, pay it off, even if it means you pay it small, I mean, little by little, one little. They say little drops
Of water makes a mighty ocean.
So you try and pay it off gradually. You should be able to successfully pay it off completely, and then you can do the other things that you have to do. So if you can, don't go in for a loan. But if you have already got yourself into that, I mean, you just have to work at trying to take that loan away so that you can do other things that you have to do. And you had mentioned about what are some of the alternatives.
Other options if the loan is out of the picture.
Yeah. So I think we all coming from a different place. Yeah, but sometimes you need help, and then there are people that can give help that is not necessarily maybe you getting a loan. I won't sit here and say that sometimes I don't need money. I mean, you sometimes need money for one or two things, and you can have family. Yeah, I don't even ascribe or I don't support that. Oh, you always go to your family like you always like you're going to beg and that kind of thing. Yeah, but you need to. I mean, sometimes you can have people that would be able to give you something in the meantime when you don't have to support. That's why we have family, and family is supposed to be supportive. And you actually also have friends that are more like more than brothers that can also help. Yeah, but the habit of always going to borrow is the problem. And one of the things that I would even add is that the your integrity plays a crucial role. If you are someone that you're always going to ask for money and you don't pay, and you need money, nobody's going to help you.
Nobody's going to help
Yeah,
you.
but if people know that, oh, you do your things in a certain way, you are orderly, you organize, you pay. If you take money from someone, you pay, you try your best, and all of that, and you need help, you genuinely need help, someone will help you. I remember one time.
Edward, you know what? Our time is up. We have to make way for the next program. We'll come back another time
Alright,
to continue.
definitely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming.
Alright, sure.
And thank you to our sponsor, Secure Pills. To all those who listen, my name is Abby. Have a good working day and stay blessed. Bye bye.
All right, bye.
Sunny 88.7 FM.
Your radio connection for music, inspiration, and information.